Sparkplug Jones here. Another episode of Driving with a Mechanic. As you can see, it's pretty foggy today. I have a lot of driving to do in this business of mobile mechanics. I see lots of videos. You'll see where they're at one job, they click, you see another job, click, see another job, click, then they say, this is how we spent our day, we made X amount of money. Well, this is the in between the clicks video right here. Driving to each job. So I have some of the best conversations with myself. I just like to pass some of this stuff along. So today I'm going to talk about rotors. We do a lot of brake jobs, and I'll get calls every week and take these from folks, and they'll say, I'll ask them, so how do your rotors look? Do you need new rotors? Or we're looking at doing brake pads, or what are we doing? And I hear a lot of times they'll say, my rotors look fine, they're great, they're nice and smooth, there's no sound, they're really good. When we get there, they're not really good. It's metal on metal, they're grinded, and they look terrible. So when you're looking at your brake system, your rotors are very important. It's easy to see, are your rotors nice and smooth and shiny, or are they grooved and just look real rough and gouged? Another thing is when you put your brakes on, is it shaking like crazy, like shaking you to death? Do you feel that in your steering wheel? If you do, more than likely that's your front rotors, and they're at the end of their lifespan. They've developed those waves in it. If you're feeling it kind of in the seat where you're sitting, a lot of times that's in the rear. It's your rear rotors that are acting up. But these days, new rotors are already kind of thin, to the standards. So if you're driving pickup trucks, rule of thumb on most of these new trucks, you're going to replace your rotors when you replace brake pads. I would just prepare to already have that mindset and that your finances in order. But don't mislead your techs. They're going to see it when they get there, and it's better to go ahead and have the information ahead of time. Most people that are doing brake jobs, they'll give you a better price if you're doing brakes and rotors together than if you're doing brake pads today. They find out you need rotors, and they have to go back, get rotors, and come back and put them back on. It's additional. If it's mobile folks, it's additional travel time. It's additional labor to have to take things off, put them back on. You get them at a better price for a package deal as opposed to trying to buy everything separate. So they're going to give you the best price up front for pads and rotors. Go ahead and ask them, what's the price going to be? I hate surprises. I don't like going someplace and they say it's going to be one price for whatever they're doing, and they come out and say, you owe twice as much because, we had to do X, Y, and Z. We didn't tell you about it, but we're going to charge for it anyways. I don't like that. I don't like my customers to have to go through that. So most of the time, we will quote you pads and rotors to begin with, and we'll bring everything out, because too many times I've done these jobs that, again, we show up and the rotors look terrible. And once you show folks, they know it. They know what the rotors look like. They know that they're going to need stuff. And then you can go over pricing and financing and all that stuff. But try not to mislead the person you're speaking with on the phone or your text, because they're going to work with you in the beginning. If they show up and they're missing things, they don't have it because you gave them false information. Your price is only going to go up. So if you want the best price for the job, be as honest as you can and ask for everything up front. Say, hey, give me the price for everything. We'll go from there. Another thing with doing brakes, especially with rotors, if you're metal on metal and you look at that rotor and it looks pretty rough, I might even ask how much it's going to cost to do a caliper replacement, because many times either it's a faulty caliper that was a problem in the first place, or a brake line, a brake hose, or you went to metal on metal and all that stuff, was all the metal shavings and everything got in there, and it started eating into the rotor and tore your caliper up. So we see that from time to time where it's a faulty caliper either before or after the fact. Again, getting all the information up front ahead of time is the best course, which I know a lot of big shops, commercial folks, they're not even going to give you a price on the phone. They'll say you have to come in for us to look at it, for us to give you a quote. That's kind of like the going practice now for a lot of big shops. They literally will not tell you anything. They'll say, Well, brake pads start at $99 and up. It's, you don't see those cars. They don't exist, I don't think. Yeah, they may charge $99 for brake pads, but then they add shop fees, disposal fees, and every other fee known to man. And it is not $99 an axle. It's going to be closer to $200-300 an axle. But that's neither here nor there. That's not really what this conversation was supposed to be about. It's more about rotor quality. So I'm going to show some pictures. The first one is a rotor that's starting to develop these little imperfections in the rotor as it's gotten thinner. You can see when you look at your rotor and you see some rust and stuff like that, and oxidation. That's kind of beginning stages of your rotor. Without putting a measuring tool to it, they're getting pretty worn. They've seen their life, and then it moves into the next picture is going to be a rotor that's it needs to go. It's metal on metal. It's being gouged. It's starting to look pretty rough, and the following pictures are the same thing. Just more examples of what a bad rotor looks like that's been ate up. Some people say you can turn some of these things. I'm sort of against that. I think most shops are going against that. It takes too much material off. It doesn't last. I mean, it may last you a couple months, but you're going to be back to the same situation as far as shaking and all that stuff. And as far as thickness goes, there's folks out there turning rotors and they're too thin. When you measure them, they're not safe anymore, and your braking distance is quite extended. So I'll sum this up. If your rotors look like these pictures here, just know that they need to be replaced, and be expecting that money. All right, just be expecting that quote. Thanks for watching. Like, follow, subscribe. Have a good day.